皆様、大変お待たせいたしました。
Thank you for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to invite Race Director and President of Tokyo Marathon Foundation, Mr. Hayano Tadayaki, for his press conference. Please come, Mr. Hayano. First of all, Race Director, Tokyo Marathon 2024. As the race director, Mr. Hayano, could you summarize what the race was like? Thank you for your support. I'm the race director of Tokyo Marathon. My name is Hayano. I was shouting during the race, so my voice is a bit sour. Sorry for that. I was told to summarize the race, but there were so many exciting points. I don't know where to start, but generally speaking, all in all, for both men and women, I will give the positive news first, but course record for both men and women. The top winners did break the course record, and also there were many in the lead pack who renewed their personal best. Unfortunately, Kipchoge and Hassan, I don't know the reason why, but I was watching Kipchoge recede. I didn't know what happened. I haven't seen him. I haven't talked to him. I saw on the screen his comment slightly, and which kilometer point was that? Gradually and gradually, he was receding from the lead pack. He's always right behind the pacemaker, but I was wondering why he was receding to the right. So I was watching, and I haven't been able to see Hassan's race, but 18 minutes is a great record, but it wasn't her best, not as you had expected. And as far as Japanese athletes are concerned, they were running behind us, so we only got the news from the broadcasting. But yes, I heard that the winner was very regretful about his results, and 30 seconds, 40 seconds behind the designated time. I know how frustrating this is. And Nia-san was in good condition for the women's race. And Yokota coach consulted, and she ran at the pace they decided. So I don't know the reason why. But so in terms of the general summarization of the race, I'm sure that you would be asking me specific questions, but that's my general impression of the race. Thank you very much. Then we now would like to invite questions from the floor. Those of you who have questions, please raise your hand. No questions? The gentleman at the front. Moriai, Tokyo newspaper. Hayano-san, this is your final race as race director. You've completed your mission. How do you assess your track record? And as the president of the foundation, what kind of Tokyo Marathon would you like to create in the years to come? Well, this is my personal thing, so I was going to touch upon that in closing. But before that, no questions regarding the race? If not, then I will answer that question. But as you know, you probably are wondering why I'm serving as the race director for so long. It was September last year I was appointed president, and I was elected at the board meeting last year in September. From April, I was the race director, and I had been engaged in recruiting, and I had been engaged in the consultations with the agent. So I thought that this race, up to this race, I would be responsible as race director. So I concurrently served as president and race director. Since 2012, I did my homework because I got lost of when I started. But in 2012, for 12 to 13 years, I was the race director. And during those years, my goal has been, and you've heard me say the same thing over and over again, but to have a domestic race at the global standard, and that to stimulate the Japanese athletes and Japanese runners. And that had been my mission. I said about my personal life, but I think I'm at a good age to hand this position over to a younger race director, and I'm sure he's going to make a comment later, but Mr. Oshima Yasuhiro sat next to me is going to take over as race director. So this is over. So right after I complete my comment, I'm going to hand over the baton to Mr. Oshima. And finally, your question also involved my career as a president of foundation or president slash race director. So I'm going to continue to serve as president, so in the management of the Tokyo Marathon. So the future direction of the foundation, last year's theme was 2023 races step ahead. So after the running or after the event, what lies beyond the race or beyond the event? One objective is when you look at other events in Japan and outside of Japan, or rather outside of Japan, many of those races contribute to the city building and community building of the locality, and sporting event, running events can contribute to the development of the local community. And I went to Saudi Arabia, and next week, I'm going to be going to Taiwan. So in order to make Tokyo Marathon contribute beyond the event, I want to engage in such activities. And I think that's an important mission of the Tokyo Marathon Foundation. I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much. If there are no more questions, Mr. Oshima, could you deliver a comment? And that will be the end of the press conference. So, last chance. Any questions? If not, Mr. Oshima, please go ahead. Good afternoon. Thank you for the kind introduction. My name is Oshima. Already, you've heard rumors. Officially, my appointment will begin from April, but I'm happy to be taking over the position of Mr. Hayano. It's a very important position as race director, and I'm going to be bearing a very crucial responsibility. So this may be a banal comment, but I'm excited and nervous at the same time. Mr. Hayano will continue to be the president of the foundation, so I will be strongly supported by him. And he has built this race over the past decade or so. And I truly hope that through my contribution, we can make this a better race, not just for the elite field, but also for the general field. I want this to become a marathon that's loved by all, and also enrich the after events as well. So I'm going to need your help, and I would kindly thank you for your continued support. Thank you very much. With this, we conclude the press conference by the marathon director, race director. Once again, thank you for all the support you've granted to me during the years as race director.
続いて日本
Next, we would like to start the press conference for the JAAF, Japan Association of Athletics Federations. Be starting shortly. We would now like to start the press conference with Seko Toshihiko, Road Running Commission Leader, as well as Takaoka Toshinari, Senior Director for Middle Distance and Marathon of JAAF. First of all, please summarize this year's race at the Tokyo Marathon 2024. Seko-san, please. Hello, everyone. So the men's final challenge has now been concluded. Unfortunately, 2 hours 5 minutes 50 seconds was not met, or was not broken. But everyone worked very hard to aim for the Olympic Games, and as a leader, I would like to highly evaluate their efforts. Now, the selection process for the Olympic Games is concluded, and Koyama-san, Akasaki, and the third ticket is not decided. Because we don't know what is going to be, but these three will be going to the Paris Olympic Games, and we'll do our utmost to provide support to them. And for Japan, women, Nia-san tried to break the women's Japan record. It was not met, but if there is another opportunity, I hope that she will once again aim to break the Japan record. That is all for me. Takaoka-san, please. Senior Director, Takaoka. Regarding today's race, I would say that it's globally, it is a race with the top athletes in the field, and highly promising Japanese athletes also competed. And what the result that we were hoping for was what we were looking forward to see today. And depending on the condition, we were also highly hopeful of a good record to be set as well. In terms of the race, from the very beginning, the target time wrap was recorded, and promising athletes were not able to keep up during the race. But this is a difficult challenge, aiming for the Olympic Games. I'm sure that there was also a sense of pressure that they were feeling during the race as well. But against this backdrop, all the athletes tried their very best to aim for the record, as well as the top position of the Japanese athletes. The top Japanese athlete, Nishiyama-san, was able to record his personal best. And although he was number one in Japanese finishes, he was tearful because he was not able to break the standard. But we have high expectations that Japanese athletes will go much higher. And although the 2 hours 5 minutes and 50 seconds was not met, we believe that the level is improving. Now, the final challenge for the Olympic Games has now been concluded. But next year, World Athletics will be held in Tokyo. I'm sure that young athletes will also display their strength as well. Regarding women's, the top athletes of the world has come to compete in Tokyo. And the challenging spirit was very impressive. And there is a strong hope that Japanese athletes will catch up. Kipruto, we thought that he's going to be overwhelmingly number one. But Kipchoge was lagging behind, and also Japanese athletes have overtaken him. Therefore, regardless of the track record in the past, a marathon is a very difficult sport. That's my impression. Thank you very much. We would now like to proceed to the Q&A. Please raise your hand if you have a question. The person in the front row. Kyoto Tsushima Yamamoto, Kyoto Press. You said that we don't know what Osako-san is going to say, but now the three athletes have been selected. What kind of expectations do you have for the Paris Olympic Games? And what do you think are the thoughts of the three athletes? MGC race should be recalled. At that race, the first and second and the third and fourth place difference were very close in that race. Taking that into consideration, all the athletes would have been able to represent Japan with confidence, regardless of the selection that were made. And the psychological strength of winning the race, as well as performing in a difficult course, will lead to good results in the Paris Olympic Games. Now, the third place is now Osako-san. And he is from my alma mater as well. I hope that he will compete in the Olympic Games. As a person who has experienced the Olympic Games, I would say that if Osako is irreplaceable, and he is the only person who can give advice to the other two athletes competing from representing Japan. So I hope he will join. And I hope he's going to lead the Japanese athletes who will be competing. There is also going to be a substitute as well. I have another question. Paris course has many ups and downs. It's a very challenging course. There's only about 6 months left to prepare. How are you going to train the athletes in the run-up toward the Olympic Games? From here onward, in the run-up toward the Paris Olympic Games, taking into consideration the period available, it is not going to be an easy course to compete in. We have to make sure that all the athletes, the three athletes, will be fully prepared with the best condition. I think that is first and foremost. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Please raise your hand if you have any questions. The third row to the right, please. Jiji Press, my name is Maeda. Now, the selection process is finished for men, for MGC race, and then there was an MGC as well as a final challenge. So you had this phased approach. This is the second time you have taken this selection process. What do you think is going to be the impact on the marathon world? And taking into consideration Paris, what is your take on the process? The Olympic Games is not finished yet, so we cannot evaluate fully, but it received much attention, and to take part in the MGC was the goal for many of the athletes, and many athletes were able to aim for the race. Last time, and the Tokyo Olympic Games was delayed by 1 year, and therefore verification was not very easy. But in August, it will be held, and after that, we can take stock of the process. So this time was the final challenge. So there was an aim for a time. That was very important. At a faster pace, athletes had to compete. This is but this time, this process was enabled. If you go for the record, you human beings tend to become tense and not able to bring to bear their full strength. That was clear in Osaka and in Tokyo. Aiming for the Olympic Games will make the athletes very tense, and perhaps they were not able to utilize their strengths fully. So it is a difficult experience. But this experience can be brought to bear for the next opportunity when there is no selection process involved. And they would be able to bring to bear their strength. And I'm sure that good record can be set. But for this time, the record that we hoped for was not achieved. But there are buds in the making. And I hope that it will bear fruit going forward. Next year, the World Athletics Tokyo will be held. So toward this goal, even though athletes were not able to compete in Paris, they can still aim for a higher record. Next question will be the last one. The second row, gentleman. Thank you very much. Regarding MGC final challenge, inclusive of that, with the World Athletics show a different field. Now, you have always been strong, the two of you. How do you evaluate the fact that it's more diverse in terms of the field? As you have said, the World Athletics, the field is changing every time it is held. So reproducing the ability is important, and that to reproduce one's strength has become a challenge for the athletes. But by overcoming this challenge, truly strong athletes will emerge. The athletes that have been selected can bring to bear their experience going forward, and for others, there is a new challenge before them. There is effectiveness that there is a reshuffling of the field. I believe that mentally it will give them hope for many athletes, and as a result, we can improve the level of Japanese athletes. Nishiyama-san, if he won and has shown a record, and he was participating in Oregon World Athletics, and if he had, I felt that he could reproduce the good results of the past, so we'll look forward to the next time. With that, we would like to bring the JAAF press conference to a close. Thank you.
We now invite Mr. Soejima Masazumi, race director for wheelchair marathon of Tokyo Marathon. First, Mr. Sojima, can you give us an overview of the wheelchair race of Tokyo Marathon 2024? Thank you for all the support. We were able to safely and securely finish the race. For men's, Suzuki Tomoki was the first, 1:23.05. Second, Daniel Romanchuk, 1:28.33. And third was Watanabe Sho, 1:31.03. And in the case of men's race, this was followed by Yoshida Ryuta, Okinoue Kota, and Nishida Hiroshi. So the four were in close context, and Watanabe beat the three. Women's winner Maniera Shah, 1:40.10. Second, Eden Rainbow Cooper, 1:40.28. Third place, Susanna Scaroni, 1:41.35. Those were the results. No major accident took place. We were able to safely finish the event. And in the women's race, too, misinterpreted the signage and deviated from the course. There were two such women athletes. That was all the incidents that occurred. We were expecting better time, but the results weren't bad. It wasn't as good as last year. And this year, for women's, we were expecting better results, but it was difficult for records to be made. And for men's, Marcel Hood didn't participate, so we thought that a different nature would unfold due to his non-presence, but Mr. Suzuki kept his pace until the very end, until the finish line, and he very objectively finished the race in a good condition. Thank you very much. We now would like to move on to Q&A. Those with questions, please raise your hands. Lady journalist on the left. Freelance. My name is Hoshino. Thank you very much. You mentioned that two were disqualified in the women's race. When I look at the result, one man, a male athlete, also disqualified. You said they misinterpreted, but can you give us some details regarding those incidents, please? Thank you very much. I cannot give you a clear answer at this juncture because we are still in the process of studying the matter in detail. That's all I can say. Sorry. After you confirm what the situation was, do you plan to issue a press release and notify us of the detailed information? Sorry. Shinjo, Assistant Director, speaking. 10.7 kilo, and the marathon course breaks at that point. And the athlete mistook the course, the wrong course. And of course, they went into the 10 kilo, so 10 kilometer was not passed, and therefore the gate of 10K was not passed, and that is why they disqualified. So I think we need to think about the signage, but the gate was not passed by those athletes, and that is why they are labeled as disqualified. Thank you. Woman in white. Nabeta of Kyodo News. I have a related question, and sorry for beating a similar question. You said you need to do better with regards to the signage. At the fork point of 10K, was there a billboard or signage? Nothing to really clearly notify them? of the fork, there is a billboard signage, but from which angle did the athlete view, and how did the athlete confirm the signage? And depending on their interpretation, their behavior would change. But there is a signage. Thank you very much. In terms of measures, we may need to take consideration and take measures assuming that the vision of the wheelchair athletes are lower than general runners. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Center right, Nikkei. Shinjo-san, I have a follow-up question on that point. According to the TV broadcasting, Yasuoka-san, men's wheelchair athlete, made a mistake. Was that a different point, or did he make a mistake at that same point of 10K? I thought he went wrong in a different section. The three were racing together, according to what we have heard. And when you go through the 10.7 kilo course, you go to the finish line. And right before that, they return to the marathon course. So at the first turning point, a break point, and the point they return to their marathon course. So there were two occasions when they changed course. So the two women and one male made a mistake at the same section. Those three were running together at the same pace and reached the point simultaneously. And also regarding the eyesight, what would you think would be an ideal height? So the signage was higher than desirable, right? So what kind of signage was it? Was it in English? There were arrows. If you go right, towards the right arrow, 10.7, and there was a left arrow, and it said marathon. That is our understanding. And what about the height? At the bottom, at the very bottom. Can you respond in centimeters? Because you said that eyesight of wheelchair. So if it's 1 meters, they might. No, it wasn't as high as 1 meter. We put it at the lowest possible position. I haven't measured the height of the signage from the ground, but we tried to place it at the lowest possible level. So usually it would have fallen within their vision. So Ejima-san, were you able to clearly read the sign? Yes. Let me supplement. It's exactly as Mr. Soejima said, but some racers have their head down when they are striding their wheelchairs. So there could have been some timing where the signage did not fall into their vision. So maybe we can take additional measures. So Soejima-san, you said it was low. So an ordinary wheelchair athlete would have been able to see that, but it was bad timing, and by chance it didn't fall within their vision. Right, I think they were at that particular timing not paying attention to the signage, and then went to the right direction rather than left. So you haven't been able to do a hearing? No, I haven't been able to ask the athletes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Due to time constraints, this will be the end of this press conference. We will now end the press conference by Wheelchair Marathon Race Director. Thank you. There will be the press conference by the winner of the wheelchair male race.
これより車椅子マラソン男子
We now begin the press conference by Mr. Suzuki Tomoki, who won the wheelchair men's race.
まずは佐々木選手優勝おめでとう。
Congratulations for the victory, Mr. Suzuki. Tokyo Marathon 2024. Looking behind the race that you have just completed, how do you feel? Thank you, first of all, to all the support. This time, in the first half with Daniel, we were competing intensely, so first half was tough. And then at around Asakusa, I was running alone, striding alone. And then from that point and beyond, it was a battle against myself. 1:21 had been my target time. I was not able to achieve that target time. 1:23. I'm the second in high performance record, so it wasn't bad. Thank you very much.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
では記者の皆様からの質疑応答に入ります。
We now would like to move on to the Q&A. Those of you with questions, please raise your hand.
後方の女性の方
Yes, the lady at the back.
鈴木選手優勝おめでとう。
Congratulations, Mr. Suzuki. My name is Kawahara of Parasport. One major factor was the non-presence of Marcel. 1:21 was your target, and with or without Marcel, had there been any impact of non-absence of Marcel? Because if he had been there, he might have been your goal. You could have followed him. So what's your take regarding the absence of Marcel? Frankly speaking, if someone was there, like Marcel, then I might have been more likely to have achieved my target time, because it was a battle against myself, so mentally it was really tough. But in the end, Marcel didn't come to Tokyo, so I knew that it's going to be a fight against myself before I came to the starting line, and that had been the assumption in my training. So it's unfortunate that Marcel didn't come, but couldn't do anything about it. Thank you very much. And 1:21, you underperformed your target time. After Oita International, up to date, 1:21 had been your target. What had you been doing? And you thought that you would be able to reach that target time, but you weren't able to reach that. Is that correct? Yes, that's very correct. Post Oita, I changed nothing, because I continued the same training as I had done up to Oita. That's all I have been doing. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Yes. Center journalist, male journalist. Kawamura of Mainichi newspaper, congratulations for your victory. With Takano coach, you had been conditioning under a new menu. Today's performance, what was some results or outcome of your new coach? Everything. My physical performance, regarding my mobility scope, everything contributed to my results. And in your physical condition, is there any particular points where you think that your performance has elevated? Wheelchair, especially for wheelchair, people think that we're striding with our arms. It's not really our arms. It's our stomach or our back that we use in order to communicate the strength to our arms. So that was the lesson I learned from Takano-san, and that delivered results. Thank you very much. Left-hand side, lady journalist. Freelance Hoshino, and congratulations for winning the race. Now that you have completed, you said that it was a tough race in the middle. Was it a mental difficulty or physical difficulty? And based upon your experience in this race, and I think you have the next step in mind. So, what are some of the aspects that you need to work more on? Frankly speaking, both mentally and physically, it was a tough race. Physically, it was tough. Mentally, it wasn't just Danielle, but it was a large pack. And in order to break away from the pack solely, I was constantly thinking on my tactics. So it was mentally hard. And what was your other question? So, based upon the tough experience you've had, what are some of the weak points that you need to strengthen? Thank you very much. I was able to make a move several times against Danielle. But this frequency of making the move is not going to get me to the medals in the Paralympics. So there are so many points that I'm still weak. So during this season up to summer, I hope to augment those areas. Thank you very much. Due to time constraints, the next question will be the final question. And the lady at the back, please. Parasapoel, my name is Senaga. Cobblestone course. That's common with Paris. So what kind of tactics will you apply for those sections with cobblestones? For the stones, it's difficult to keep your upper body stable, so the torso, cobblestone is essential. So I have to create the way of stride where pace doesn't decline even over cobblestones. Thank you very much. Sorry. Finally, okay, this will be the truly last question. Right hand side. Gentleman in green. Nikkei, my name is Seta. Speed meter on the wheelchair. What was your average speed? And was that outperforming or underperforming your target? And if the average speed was an underperformance, what was lacking? 31 was the average. Sorry, I didn't take a good look at the speed meter. And 32 was my target as an average. But one factor was wind. There was headwind in the valley of skyscrapers, and that was one factor. Thank you very much. This will be the end of athlete Mr. Suzuki, who won the wheelchair men's field. Thank you.
Next, we'll proceed to marathon wheelchair women. The winner is Ms. Manuela Shaw. Congratulations for your win. First of all, please talk about the race and your thoughts about the race.
Yes, it was a beautiful day today. We had great conditions, nice temperature for a marathon, a little bit too much wind for a really fast time. Yeah, I was really fortunate to race with Susanna and Eden. We really worked together well, and I'm absolutely happy to win again here in Tokyo.
ありがとうございます。それでは記者の
So we would now like to proceed to the Q&A. Please raise your hand if you have any questions. The lady on the left side. Congratulations for your win. Now, 2 days ago at the press conference, you said that you don't want to have a sprint finish. I think you mentioned that the other day. And in today's race, you were in a pack of 3. From about 40 kilometers, and looking at the result, you seem to have broken away from the pack around 40 kilometers. What was your tactic? The point at which you became tactical. Please review that race.
Yes, as I mentioned, we raced really good together today. We worked together, and I really expected it to be a sprint finish, actually. And then I was really lucky at the turning point at like 40K. We raced into a tailwind, so I could use that to my fortune, and I was feeling pretty fresh still, so I just tried to break away, and was actually able to hold a good pace until the finish. And yeah, it was a race I would have wished for.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Please raise your hand. Sorry. The gentleman on the right. Manuela-san, you were very strong throughout the race. And Catherine de Gurna, from your country person, I think you're rivals. How do you evaluate her strength? And what do you have to do to beat her going forward?
Yeah, I think we're a really good group of really strong women in wheelchair racing at the moment. It's really exciting to be part of this. It's going to be really exciting for Paralympic Games in August, and to see who will win and who will win over what distance, especially in the marathon. It's really exciting at the moment. I think Catherine is focusing on track a little bit more at the moment, so that's why she's probably not here racing. Yeah, but there are so many at the moment, and you never know who's going to take the win. We had several winners last year in different marathons, so I think it's the most exciting time since I've been racing in women's wheelchair racing.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Please raise your hand if you have any questions. They seem not. With this, we would like to bring this press conference to close for the wheelchair athletes woman, Manuel Shah. Thank you very much.
We will begin the press conference by Mr. Benson Kipruto, who won the men's marathon race. Congratulations for the victory as well as the renewal of the event record. Looking behind the race that you just fought, can you give us your comment? Congratulations for your victory and the renewal of the event record. Can you give us a comment on the race that you had just fought through?
I'm so happy for the course record today. running was so good, and it was fast enough for a course record, and I'm happy for today.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. We now move on to the Q&A. Those of you with questions, please raise your hand. Gentleman in the third row.
There's a question from AFP. Were you surprised that Eliud Kipchoge's performance, he finished 10th and he fell behind quite suddenly midway through the race?
Repeat the question. Okay. Repeat, yeah.
You want me to repeat it? Were you surprised with Kipchoge's performance today? He finished 10th. Thank you.
No, because I don't know what happened to him, and I've not met him up to now, so I don't know what happened to him.
Are there any other questions?
失礼しました。マイクをお持ちしますので少々お待ちください。マイクで。
Please speak into the microphone.
Well, first of all, congratulations on a new PR. You did amazing. I would like to know what you changed in your training to have improved over a minute and a half.
My training was good, and nothing much to change, but to keep on improving on training and to stay disciplined and to have determination. And you will succeed. That's what I've done for my performance today. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
他にご質問
Any other questions? Please raise your hand.
一番前の男性の
Gentleman at the front.
共同通信の
Koizumi of Kyoto Press, and congratulations. There will be the Paris Olympics this year. And what's your goal towards the Paris Olympics? How do you position the Paris Olympics within your career as an athlete?
I think for Paris, I'm ready, and I will be happy to represent my country in Paris. But that lies on my country for selection. That one I still wait, but I'm ready for Paris if I will be selected. Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. Are there other questions? Gentleman at the center.
事実
Iwao of GG Press. Until the midpoint, you were running at a pace that you could have renewed world record. Were you mindful of that? Were you trying to break the world record?
I didn't know we were in world record pace because we kept on running. And if it was world record, there was no problem. We were ready for it.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. Any other question?
2列目の男性の方。
Gentleman in the second row.
マンスリーアスレ
Monthly athletics. Congratulations. In men's marathon, the race is who will crack 2 hours. Do you think you can do it?
That's in a time to come, and I will prepare for that. We say nothing is impossible, so I will work on that. Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
次を最後にしたいと思
The
います。
next question will be the final question.
挙手をお願いします。
Those of you with questions, please raise your hand.
よろしいでしょうか。
If not,
それでは以上をもちまして、
with this, we conclude the press conference by Mr. Benson Kipruto, the winner of Men's Elite. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We will now begin the press conference by Mr. Nishiyama, who was the best Japanese athlete in the race. First of all, how do you feel now that you have finished the race? I was working towards the Olympics. I really wanted to go to Paris. That's it. Thank you. Now, journalists, if you have questions, please raise your hand. No questions? Gentlemen at the front, please. Yamamoto of Kyoto News. I know you're frustrated, but this was your fourth full marathon. In comparison to the past races, I think you learned something. And you probably learned a lesson that you underperformed the designated time. Well, in the past 4 races, the process up to the marathon race, on daily basis, I was updating myself. The second better than the first, the third better than the second, and fourth better than the third. So every day, I would look back on the day before and try to adjust what I do in order to make myself better than yesterday by feeling out how my body reacts. That's how I had trained myself. And in today's marathon, I did that updating as well. And I was at the starting line at my very best. And 2:05:50, I had been training in order to crack that designated time. So 2:05:50, I was confident that I will crack that time, but in the end, I didn't perform that time, so I'm very frustrated. Thank you. Thank you very much. Other questions? The 5th row, gentleman in black. Iwakabe-san of Mainichi newspaper, can you raise your hand? Iwakabe of Mainichi newspaper. Good job done. I'm sure you're frustrated, but it should have been a heavy burden thinking that you're competing against the final position, including that heavy pressure upon you. Can you again comment on the race that you just finished? Well, pressure that there's only one position left. I didn't really feel the pressure because I thought that that's my position. I am to occupy that final position. So I didn't feel particular pressure just from that. Just last question. Thinking about the future, you had said somewhere that this is going to be the final Olympics that you will aim to participate. So what would become of your career as a runner now that this race has finished? Paris Olympics was my biggest goal, and I failed. So beyond that, I never thought about what I'd do after that. I devoted everything to that goal. So I'm not thinking about the future, so I'll take a rest and think what I ought to be doing. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Gentleman in the front row. Watanabe, Toko newspaper. When you stood on the start line, you said you were as confident as ever. Last year, MGC, your results was regrettable, and you thought about retiring once, but you said that you felt the support by the supporters and did your daily updating. How did you update what you experienced at last year's MGC, and why did you fail today? So updating that you had done since previous year, how did that contribute to your results today? And what was the final barrier that you weren't able to overcome? Regarding MGC, frankly speaking, I was not able to think back on that race. It's just that race I was not able to look back on because when I thought that I will become negative when I think about that race. So I tried to shun that out from my mind. So I only reviewed the process other than that MGC as I prepared for this Tokyo Marathon. And in comparison to the MGC, both in terms of quality and quantity, I was able to upgrade myself, and I trained myself, attaching importance to recovery as well. So I conversed with my own body and trained myself, which I think was a good thing. 35K, post 35K, my pace receded, declined quite significantly. I've not had much time to think about it after the completion of the race. I usually spent a long time analyzing past races and try to come up with a better plan. So I've not been able to pinpoint the causes clearly yet. But what I had done did not reach 2:05:50. It's a fact. So it's evidence that I didn't do enough. Thank you very much. Any other question? Yes. Gentleman in green at the center. Wada, freelance journalist, job well done. You said post 35K, but what about your initial 5K? Wasn't that too slow to aim for 2:05:50? What did you feel at the outset? Well, in the first half, the pace was low, and I felt that. So at half, 62 minutes, 62 minutes. I was aiming to achieve half by 62 minutes. That was my frank target, but I decelerated, couldn't do anything about that, and try to recover thereafter. After the pacemaker left, I knew that I wouldn't finish in good time if I don't become aggressive. So in the second half, I tried to be very aggressive, meaning that there were some faults in your race planning. Well, the actual pace was slower than I had expected, and it was unexpected in a way, but I tried not to become nervous, and I try not to become nervous to lose myself, because then I would become a complete failure. So I try to forget that and try to be as aggressive as I can in the second half. Thank you. Due to time constraints, the next question will be the final question. Third row, gentleman on the left, on the right. After MGC, you were depressed so much so that you thought about retiring, but you made a comeback, and you talked about great support from your family. You were able to mentally survive until today. Were there any events that uplifted you or any words of encouragement from your family? My wife and daughter, I have a wife and daughter is 1 year old, 1 year and 4 months. My wife is encouraging me every day, and I'm very grateful to her. And I watch my daughter grow every day, and that reminds me that, like my daughter, I must grow every day. And she suddenly took her first walk, and then the next moment she was walking up the stairs with a really strong heartbeat. And looking at her working up the stairs, I reminded myself that I need to work hard in order to grow like her. So that was the biggest encouragement. So that kind of, so looking at my daughter run out of her breath and my wife encouraging me was a great support. And I wanted to bring my family, both of them, to Paris. That was my hope, that I had devoted myself to this race. Thank you. This will be the end of the press conference by Mr. Nishiyama. Thank you very much.
We would now conduct a press conference for the women's marathon. The winner is Ms. Duma Asfa Kebede. Congratulations for your win, as well as setting the course record. Congratulations. please look back on today's race and share your thoughts, please.
መጀመሪያ በጣም አመሰግናለሁ ለሁሉም ለኦርጋናይዘሩም አመሰግናለሁ ላለው እና ለቶኪዮ ህዝብ በሙሉ በጣም አመሰግናለሁ እዚህ ውድድር ላይ ስለጋበዙኝ ኦርጋናይዘሩም በጣም አመሰግናለሁ እና እኔ አሁን በጣም ደስ ብሎኛል ደስታ ነው በጣም የሚሰማኝ እና አመሰግናለሁ ስለሁሉም ኮርስ ሪኮርዱንም ሮጫለሁ መጀመሪያ ላይ አላሰብኩም ነበር ኮርስ ሪከርድ እንደሚሆን አልጠበቅኩም ግን እግዚአብሔር መልካም ፍቃድ ሆኖ ኮርስ ሪከርዱን ሰብሬያለሁ በጣም ደስ ብሎኛል
Thank you very much. I would like to express my appreciation to everyone, to the organizers and the people of Tokyo. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for inviting me. I would like to extend my appreciation to the organizing committee. And I'm truly happy for the race. I was able to set a course record. I wasn't thinking of being able to do that. It was unexpected for me. Because of the blessing of God, I have been able to achieve this record, and I'm extremely happy.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. We will now like to receive questions from the floor. Those of you with questions, please raise your hand. The second gentleman from the front. My name is Ogawa. Regarding the result and the time that you've recorded today, what is the reason why you were able to have such an achievement? What kind of training was useful for you to achieve these results?
እሺ በጣም አመሰግናለሁ መጀመሪያ በጣም ማመስገን የምፈልገው ለዚህ ውጤቴ ባለቤቴምና አሰልጣኝ የሆነው በጣም አመሰግናለሁ ኮች ብራኑ መኮንን በጣም ትሬኒንግን ጧትም ማታም ከኔ ጋር ያለ ብዙ ነገር ከኔ ጋር ተከታትሎኝ ስለሚያሰራኝ ጧትም ማታም የሚሰማኝን ስሜት እየጠየቀኝ ነው የሚያሰራኝ በጣም በቃ ለዚህ ውድድር ትኩረት አድርጎ ነበር ሲያሰራኝ የነበረው እና እንዳለው እንዳሰራኝም ያው ተሳክቶ እግዚአብሔር ይመስገን እንደ ፍላጎቱም እሱም የጠበቀው ከዚህ በታችም ነበረ ሰዓት እንዲሮጥ ያሰራኝ ያው እግዚአብሔር መልካም ፍቃድ የሆነው ተሆኗል በጣም አመሰግናለሁ ላለው ለሱም
First of all, I would like to express my appreciation. Thank you for the invitation to compete in this race. And my husband and my coach, I would like to express my thank you to him as well. Makonnen, coach, I would like to thank you in the morning as well as in the evening. You've been providing immense support to me in the morning and in the evening. You're always asking about my feelings and formulating the schedule of training for me. I've been focused on this race in my training up till now, and it's turned out to be successful because of the blessing of God, and everything went well. And the result is better than I expected. Thank you very much. Any other questions? The gentleman in the sixth row, please. Kyoto Press. My name is Kwahara. I have several questions. You said that the result was unexpected. What were you aiming for in terms of going into the race? And looking at the race, when you passed 40-kilometer point, you were able to break out of the pack. There was 3 in the leading pack, and you were able to break away. What was your tactic in racing in this pack? What are your thoughts regarding the Paris Olympic Games this year?
መጀመሪያ አልጠበቅኩም ያልኩት ሀፉን ስናልፍ 8 ከ20 20 ምናምን አካባቢ ነበር ያለፍነው 16 ከ16 በላይ ይሆናል ብዬ ነበር ሳስበው የሚሆነውን እጥፍ አድርጌ ሳየው ከ16 አካባቢ እንደሚሆነው ነበር ፔሶቹ ሲሄዱ የነበሩት ሀፉ ላይ ማለት ነው ለዛ ነው ያልጠበቅኩት ያልኩት እንጂ ከዛ በላይ መሄድ እንችል ነበር ፔሶቹ የተባለው የወጣውን ቢሄዱ ኖሮ ከዛም በታች መሮጥ እንችላለን ግን ፔሶቹ ትንሽ ፔሱን መሄድም አልቻሉም የሆነ አላቅም ትንሽ ዘግይተዋል እነሱ ብዬ ነው ያልገመትኩት
Regarding your first question, I said the result was unexpected. At the half point, I think it was about 8 minutes 20 seconds, and I thought that it was going to be around 16-minute plus. But I was able to achieve this record, which was unexpected. In fact, I believe that an even better record could have been achieved. I want to believe that the record could be even better, but I'm wondering about the pace. That's what I meant. Now, regarding the second question.
ፍጥነትን የጨመርነው ያው ፔሶቹ ከወጡ በኋላ በራሳችን ፔስ ነበረ ስንሄድ የነበረው 3 ልጆች አካባቢ ይሆናል መሰለኝ ከኔ ገኛ ጋር የነበሩት እኔ በራሴ የጨምሬ የርኩት ከ37 በኋላ ነው ከ37 በኋላ በቃ ያው 5 ኪሎ ሜትር ስለሆነ የቀራኝ የሚችለውን የራሴን ስፒድ መሄድ አለብኝ ብዬ የራሴን ፍጥነት ጨምሬ መሄድ የሞከርኩት ከ38 7 ጀምሮ ነው
So I left the pack because that's after the pacemaker left, and we were racing at our own pace. There were 3 in the leading pack, and around 37 kilometers and onward, I broke away. At the remainder 5 kilometers, that is when I tried to increase my speed as much as possible. Around 37 kilometers, that's when I decided to break away.
በጣም ከባድ ፍክክር ነበረ እና ያው እግዚአብሔር የወደደው ሆኗል ያው ከዛ እንግዲህ እኔ በፍጥነት ጨምሬ በመሄዴ ልዩነት ፈጥረናል እንጂ ተካራ ነበሩ በጣም
Furthermore, it was very tactical race, and I think this was a blessing of God. I was able to break away from the pack, and I was able to make a difference. But all the athletes were outstanding.
ያው እሮጣለሁ ብዬ ነው የምጠብቀው።
それからパリ
Now, regarding the Olympic Games in Paris, I believe that being able to record a good time, and this is, after all, a major race. I hope that the Athletic Association, Federation of Ethiopia, will select me to compete in Paris. Thank you very much. The next question will be the last question. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. They seem not. Or rather, the gentleman second row, please. Once again, I would like to ask a question. Now, if you are selected to compete in the Paris Olympic Games, what is going to be your goal? And it's 2 hours and 11 minutes is the women's record. Do you think it can go under that? Go under 10 minutes? What are your hopes?
እሺ ኦሎምፒክ መሄድ እግዚአብሔር መልካም ፍቃድ ከሆነ ከሄድኩኝ ያው የኦሎምፒክ ሪከርድ መሮጥ እሞክራለሁ። እናም ደግሞ ያው ማንኛውም አትሌት ለውድድር የሚሄደው ለማሸነፍ ነው። አሸንፌ የኦሎምፒክ ሪከርድም ለመሮጥ ምኞቴ ነው በጣም።
Now, regarding the Olympic Games, with the will of God may allow me to compete in the Paris Olympic Games, and I hope that the Olympic record can be set. To win, we are competing in the Olympic Games, after all. Therefore, I would like to win and break the Olympic record. That's my aspiration for the Olympic Games.
ያው የዓለም ሪከርድ እንግዲህ ዘንድሮ ነበር የተሰበረው ከረጅም ጊዜ በኋላ ያው ተሰብሯል። እንግዲህ አሁንም ሊሰበር ይችላል። ጠንክሮ ከተሰራ በጣም የተመጣጠነ ትሬኒንግ ከተሰራ ራስ ጤንነት ጥሩ ጤንነት ከተጠበቀ ያው ይሰበራል ብዬ ነው የማስበው።
The world record has been broken recently, but there was a breaking after a long time, and it might be broken again. So I'm going to continue training and maintain a good condition, and by so doing, I may be able to break that record. Thank you very much. With this, we would like to bring the press conference for Ms. Kebede, the winner of Women's Marathon, to a close. Thank you. Next, we would like to proceed to the press conference for Ms. Nia Hitomi, fastest Japanese finisher. Please look back on today's race. What are your thoughts? And please summarize the race today. Thank you very much, everyone, for today. And it's regrettable that I wasn't able to achieve my result that I aspired to, and nothing beyond that. So I'd like to go to the Q&A session now. Those of you with questions, please raise your hand. The gentleman in the front, please. My name is Ishida of Kyoto Press. So it seems that after 30 kilometers, you have your pace slowed. So please talk about the second half of the race. I was just running, and I was able to feel that I'm slowing down in my pace. Around 25 to 26 kilometer point, it became more difficult for me. And I was able to imagine the second half of the race in my head. But I tried to keep a cool head in dealing with the race. That's how I was running. And the time was as expected, as I had expected during the race. So I just wasn't good enough in terms of my strength today. Any other questions? Please raise your hand. The lady in the front, please. My name is Kodama, writer. Now, in the beginning of the first half, how did you do? Were there any improvements you should have made? Was it difficult? No, there was no difficulty in the beginning. I don't know how to put it. Around up to 20 kilometers or up to half point, I had good rhythm. I wanted to run with a good rhythm. So up to the halfway point, I wanted to trust the pacemaker in front of me. And it was a Japanese pacemaker. So if something were to happen, I would be able to converse with him. I was conscious about the goal time during the race, about 42.195 kilometers without stress to complete the run was what I was focused on. So I'm not looking at 1 kilometer at a time from the beginning of the race. I wanted to avoid that. So up until the halfway point, I just wanted to be led by the pacemaker. And after that, depending on my rhythm, I continued to race. But I didn't realize that I was falling short of the standard time. By 5 kilometers, 16 minutes, 3:16 or 3:17 was the goal for 5 kilometers, each 5 kilometers. But it was about 16:35 for 5 kilometer pace. That happened to be the pace. And I didn't realize this pace during the race. So it was quite a easy pace for me. And I realized this, and I realized that I was falling behind when Yokota-san, below the halfway point, he was there, and he told me that I'm too slow. And for the first time, I felt that this is not good. So that's when I lost my rhythm. I think that is also one factor for the result. But I should have realized the pace earlier. And I also had a watch with me. But I wanted to finish the race without stress, which I prioritized. And that is the reason why I came up with this result. This is self-reflection. From 20 to 25 kilometers, it's gone up to 16:10. So you thought that this is no good? About 21 kilometers around the halfway point, I was surprised by the time at that point. And when I passed 20K, the pace became much faster. All of a sudden, I realized that. But when I passed the halfway point, I sort of panicked a little bit. And that is the reason why I used all my energy in the subsequent 5 kilometers. Now I understand. Thank you very much for that response. Any other questions? Please raise your hand. The second row, please. Thank you very much for your effort. And 2 days ago, you said that you have to go with your own consciousness and also to be mindful of the record you want to achieve. And do you feel that it's very difficult to break the Japan record? What is your view on this? Well, 2 days ago, when I received the interview, I mentioned that in the past marathons, I used to depend on people too much from the beginning to end. I'm trying to get the right rhythm from the pacemaker, and that was the reason why I was not performing well. So I reflected on that, and I felt that I have to run my own race at my best rhythm. That's what I felt during my training. And I wanted to truly bring this out in 42 kilometers. But if you try to do this for the whole of 42 kilometers, it's going to be very difficult. So that was not my plan. Because if I try to do it on my own, it would be difficult because I wanted to leave my energy toward the second half. So in the first half, I wanted to fully utilize and benefit from the pacemaker. And after that, try to run with my own rhythm thereafter. That was my plan. And I wasn't watching the time in the process. That's the reason for today's performance. I have another follow-up question. You are focused on the Japan record, breaking the Japan record, and you have received significant support from everyone to achieve this. So what are your thoughts now? And what are your thoughts for going forward? To break the Japan record, I said that I want to break the Japan record, and that's, however, not the reason why people are supporting me. There are many people who are supporting me daily, but I wanted to return their support, and what I can return back to them is very limited. The words of thank you is very important. To be appreciative is also very important. But I came back to the game. I came back to the race after retiring. And after my comeback, I started from scratch once again and delved into this world, and there are many supporters for me, and now I have a new team accepting me and continuing to provide support to me. To these people, I wanted to give them something tangible rather than intangible, not just the words of thank you. I wanted to give back to them. This was my feeling. So what I can return back or give back is, regardless of the possibility, I want to break the Japan record, because I think it would be something tangible that I can give back to the people who have supported me. And at the same time, I think I can convey my thoughts of gratitude by breaking the record. That is the reason why I'm focused on breaking the record. And I want to remain focused as long as there is still a possibility. Thank you very much. So the next question will be the last. The gentleman in the second row, please. Thank you for showing us a great challenge. Now, Kipchoge-san and Hassan-san, the MGC final athletes have been taking part, and everyone wanted to see Nia-san run. Were you able to feel the support that you were receiving? Taking video. When I was running, what I felt is that I was receiving the most support out of the athletes until the very end of the race. I felt that I'm not going to be able to break the Japan record during the race, but nevertheless, I heard people rooting for me, rooting for Nia Hitomi, and this gave me strength. And taking the video, I didn't know that, but I felt that I received the most significant support from the spectators today. I was very happy about that. Nevertheless, even though I received so much support, I was not able to achieve my goal. It's regrettable for me. Thank you very much. With this, we would like to bring the press conference for Nia Hitomi-san to a close. Thank you very much. With this, we'd like to bring the press conference event to a close. This is the end of the YouTube streaming as well. To the journalists, I would like to request that the receivers for translation be left on the desk when you leave. Thank you very much.